Hey guys, you're welcome to Faiza Possible Show. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a heartbreak story. Story time! This is my story about how I met the one at the wrong time. My first heartbreak was one of the biggest learning experiences I've had so far. I didn't realize how emotionally damaging this relationship was until I left it. I loved him, I really did. I know he loved me, but not a single relationship is perfect. As being only 20 years old, I still have a hell of a lot of growing up to do. I've known this boy for 7 years, but we only dated for 10 months. In my opinion, it should have ended long time before then. We've broken up twice before we truly ended. At that time, I thought I was the one that needed to change. I was the one that needed to be a better partner, but in reality it was him. But I know that he was emotionally able to be a boyfriend. I was so wrapped up in our relationship that I didn't think I could live without him. The first time he broke up with me, I was in shock and I was truly heartbroken. I was begging for him not to go. I was laying in bed that night with the worst ache in my chest. That was the first and only time he broke my heart, because even though we got back together, he never mended my heart again. 2 weeks later, he broke up with me again, and I wanted nothing to do with him anymore. I felt that I was actually able to breathe again. Those 2 weeks we were together again, I would cry almost every day in fear that he would break up with me again. I would try and do everything I could show I was a good girlfriend and that I was worth keeping. I felt so relieved and happy. I had made an appointment to dye my hair blonde, made plans to actually hang out with my friends again and focus on school. I hardly cried. I thought that I was stronger until he texted me 2 days later asking if we could talk. I felt fear but also excitement. I thought this was a sign that we were meant to be together. I quickly agreed and saw him the next morning. This part is hard for me to think about even today. I knew I should have let him go. He brought me flowers to apologize and to reassure me. I thought that we were going to be okay now, but my trust in him was gone no matter how hard I tried to trust him. Every day I would be so anxious that he was going to leave me again. The next few months were actually okay, but still he wasn't emotionally there. I would be crying and he would sit there and ignore me most of the times. I thought that I was crazy and a bad friend. I knew how unhealthy this was, but I couldn't talk to him. Unfortunately, I went into an episode of sadness and depression. I knew it was because of a relationship, but I couldn't tell him that. I had to leave this relationship, but I didn't want to lose him. I was terrified. A week or two after that, he started acting weird and I knew he was going to break up with me. I didn't want to lose him, but I knew we had to break up. The games he played weren't fair to me nor to him. Finally, I told him I was done. I have never felt so relieved. Although I was scared to lose him, I now love myself and I knew I needed to leave. I made my own heart, my own way. I love him and I always will, and I hope that one day we find each other again. With loving him, I figured on how to love myself and I am embracing it now.